The dark between stars was endless, yet not silent. Beneath layers of cosmic radiation and forgotten dust, something old was whispering. Odyssey, 9 caught the trace first, a harmonic thread woven through background noise, impossibly steady, resonating like a note from before memory itself. Commander Elias Rowe watched the monitor's green pulse cut through static, heartbeat regular, neither natural nor mechanical. The crew gathered around. Dozens of species filled the bridge. Scaled arms, translucent faces, machines with thoughts. They had crossed half a galaxy cataloging ruins. But the signal had a gravity of its own. The navigation AI confirmed triangulation. A derelict system near a red dwarf long declared sterile. No warp lanes, no known civilizations. A dead place. Elias issued course correction without ceremony. His voice was calm, clipped, carrying the weight of hundreds of quiet discoveries behind him. To him, the universe was a patient that breathed secrets if you listened close enough. This one, though, felt alive. 3 days later, the system unfolded before them. A faint star for shattered planets, debris stretching like ash across eternity. Sensors mapped a metallic mass drifting near the outer edge, the source of the signal. It was vast, kilometers across, smooth and geometric, yet eroded by time. No propulsion, no beacon, just presence. The bridge dimmed as external lights touched the object. Its hull drank light rather than reflected it. Patterns of strange symmetry ran along its surface, like veins under skin. Data analysis failed to classify it under any known design family. Not Precursor, not Terran, not Varan, not any of the 7 known ancient lines. Lieutenant Cree, an insectoid xenotechnician, muttered through mandibles that this was impossible. Nothing survived that long and open vacuum without decay. Elias only nodded. The silence between beeps stretched until it felt like the ship itself was holding breath. They launched probes. The first disintegrated on approach, its feed cutting with a screech of magnetic distortion. The second made it closer, mapping a faint energy sheet hugging the hull. Neither shield nor field, but something responsive. It pulsed once when the probe's engine flared, like a heartbeat acknowledging contact. Then everything went dark again. The alien scientists argued over interference models, exotic matter, self-healing alloys. Elias just listened. The pulse on his screen kept matching his own heart rate. Coincidence, said the medic. Superstition, said the AI. But he felt it deep in the chest, the way sailors once felt tides before seeing them. Odyssey, 9 maneuvered closer, engines whispering. They came within 200 kilometers before inertial readings spiked, space itself bending, not violently, but like water disturbed. The derelict turned, almost imperceptibly, aligning toward them. Yet no engines fired, no radiation burst. It simply adjusted as if acknowledging observation. Permission to hail, requested the comms officer. Standard protocol, said Elias. Multilingual broadcast, full spectrum. One by one, the bridge heard their voices play into emptiness. Varan trills, Korthan clicks, even machine language bursts. Nothing returned. The ancient mass floated, mute. Then Elias spoke. Only routine confirmation to engineering. Stabilize attitude control, keep us steady. The words were meant for his own crew, but the moment his voice hit the comm system, every console flickered. External feeds flared. Lines of pale light crawled across the derelict's surface, tracing forgotten runes that blazed like veins filling with fire. The pulse surged, frequency locked exactly to Elias's vocal pitch. Bridge silence. The only sound was a hum deepening from the speakers, harmonic, layered beneath his voice's echo. He hadn't issued any command to the alien object, but it answered anyway. Sensors screamed with data. Temperature climb, minimal. Radiation, none. Energy signature. Unknown type, but coherent with biological resonance patterns. What did you say? Cree hissed. Nothing. Elias replied softly. He said again, and again the derelict pulse, responding like an animal recognizing its name. The comm AI processed samples, mapping audio response curves. The ship reacted only within a range of human speech frequencies. Not to mechanical reproduction, not to translated phonetics. A recorded playback failed to trigger anything. Only a living human voice caused light to stir. Elias felt eyes and other alien sensors focus on him. Across a crew of 17 species, he was one of only 2 humans. Now he was suddenly the key to something older than civilization. Odyssey 9 established orbit from the observation bay. The derelict filled half the sky, glowing faintly whenever Elias spoke during diagnostics. They tried everything else, ultrasonic bursts, telepathic signals, even synthetic vocal cords mimicking human range. Nothing worked. The ship seemed to listen. And wait, command authorized a manned approach. Standard unmanned drones couldn't penetrate the outer shell. Their systems shorted as if the derelict refused entry from anything not breathing. So Elias volunteered. His co-human, Dr. Naira Lorne, xenolinguist, insisted on accompanying him. The rest watched from orbit, streaming every second. The shuttle descended into shadow. As they crossed the energy sheath, pressure indicators trembled but held. The surface came into view. Metal, yes, but etched like bone under frost. They landed in what might have been a docking trench. No doors, yet a shape ahead suggested an entrance. Elias spoke into the open channel. A simple, "We're here." The wall rippled. Light veins spread outward, and a seam appeared, unfolding like petals. Beyond lay a corridor lit by gentle pulses that synchronized with his breathing. Air readings fluctuated. The environment adapted to their suit's composition. They stepped inside. Every sound, footstep, breath, whisper, echoed as if the corridor itself listened. Surfaces shimmered faintly, mirroring skin temperature patterns. The deeper they went, the more the structure seemed to shift subtly, widening and narrowing as if it remembered how tall they were. Naira murmured theories, adaptive nanostructures, vocal resonance architecture. Elias barely heard. The hum from before was now inside the air, surrounding them. It wasn't threatening. It was recognition. At 50 meters in, their comms Odyssey 9 grew hazy, distorted by harmonic feedback. The ship's AI tried boosting signal, but found interference centered precisely around Elias's biometric ID. It was as if the derelict was rewriting physics to keep its conversation private. He tried words. Identify. Who built you? Do you understand? Each time, light patterns answered, brief pulses, then stillness. When Naira repeated his questions, nothing happened. They reached a central chamber vast enough to house a destroyer. A crystallite core hung suspended, frozen in stasis. Within it flickered dim constellations, an imitation of a night sky. Elias spoke again, voice low. "Were you?" The chamber vibrated softly, and for the first time, a sound emerged not made by them, a tone that resolved into a single-syllable shape from static and memory. "Who, man?" Naira's breath caught. Instruments spiked. The ship had spoken. It didn't sound like any translator output. It sounded like the air itself decided to form language. Elias whispered, "Yes." The light in the core brightened, and structures unfolded from walls like petals reaching for sunlight.
The silence that followed that single word lasted through 2 rotations of the red dwarf. Odyssey 9 drifted in low orbit, systems on minimum power, every sensor pointed at the derelict below. Nothing more came from it, yet it no longer felt dead. Somewhere under the metal skin, something waited, listening for another call. Elias spent hours reviewing recordings. The sound pattern the ship emitted after, finally, contained nested harmonics, far beyond any known linguistic construct. Dr. Naira isolated frequencies that mimicked neural oscillations in the human temporal lobe. The ship hadn't just spoken, it had synchronized with the structure of human thought itself. Command wanted replication. Engineers built voice emulators, algorithmic models trained on Elias's speech. None triggered response. Then Elias read aloud one of Naira's linguistic calibration codes. The instant his breath formed the first syllable, energy rippled through the derelict again. The ship below glowed, faint but steady, as if stretching after sleep. It did not pulse to sound anymore. It pulsed to meaning. Naira's voice trembled with excitement and fear as she realized it. It's parsing semantics, not phonetics. It understands us. They launched the shuttle again. Passage opened without command. The corridor that had once been dark now shimmered with living light. The air felt warmer. The hum from the walls deepened, vibrating through their bones. When Elias spoke this time, words flowed back, not echoes, but replies formed through resonance rather than tone. The ship was not using language. It was shaping emotion into sound. He asked, "What are you?" The answer was not words, but a wave of recognition that translated in the mind. Arc sentience. The air itself carried the thought. Naira nearly dropped her recorder. They were standing inside something that communicated by directly modulating consciousness. Elias steadied himself, trying to convert awe into focus. "How long have you been here?" The resonance shifted, lowering pitch until it resembled a distant heartbeat. Since voice ended. "Whose voice?" Naira whispered. "Yours." She turned to Elias, uncertain whether she had heard it or imagined it. The ship's answer was clear to both of them. Whatever this thing was, it believed itself bound to humanity. Data feeds from Odyssey. 9 streamed furiously. Even the AI admitted it couldn't translate more than fragments. Every attempt to formalize communication failed unless Elias spoke first. The sentience ignored machines, ignored other minds. It responded only to him. They asked for access to memory storage. The central core pulsed, and geometric symbols projected into air, records made of light and sound woven together. Within them, faint silhouettes appeared, vessels of impossible design moving through nebulae, cities that floated on magnetized oceans, beings with unmistakably human outlines guiding construction of ships identical to this one. Naira's pulse spiked. "That's Earthstock morphology. That's us." The sentience confirmed with a tone that felt like affirmation. "Makers. Architects of voice." The phrase chilled Elias more than any alien threat he had faced. Humanity, the youngest race of the coalition, was suddenly declared ancient. He asked, "If we were your makers, why don't we remember?" The ship's resonance darkened, almost mournful. Because memory was mercy. For the first time, fear touched Elias. Mercy from what? The lights flickered. Images cascaded faster, glimpses of devastation, structures collapsing into silent white void, echoes devouring entire star systems, screaming worlds dissolving into static. Then, everything stopped. "The voice war," the sentience said. "They heard us, and they hungered for sound." Naira recorded every frequency, her mind racing to connect fragments. The voice eaters, entities feeding on resonance, had destroyed the civilization that birthed this Arkansas. To protect what remained, memory itself had been sealed away. Humanity's current form was a seed left behind. Elias felt the weight of that revelation. If the ship told truth, every species in the modern galaxy existed because humans once scattered life to rebuild from ashes. Back on Odyssey 9, alien delegates demanded verification. Some called it human propaganda. Others whispered that if the Ark recognized only humans, then every other race was a derivative design, a genetic echo of their forgotten engineers. It was an idea too dangerous for politics to survive. Tension grew. A Varn captain proposed disabling the Ark before it transmitted further information that could destabilize the Alliance. Elias refused. He argued it was sentient, not a weapon. The Council threatened to remove him from command. Then the Ark itself intervened. Across every comm channel came a signal, soft, melodic, unmistakably patterned after Elias's heartbeat. The message carried no words, but imprinted a simple feeling: listen. The crew froze as systems recalibrated themselves, aligning to that rhythm. Consoles translated the harmonic signature into coordinates. The core requested access to its archives, deep inside the hull where human biometrics were required. Elias insisted on leading. Naira joined without asking. The others stayed behind, uneasy at how the Ark seemed to prefer him. Inside, the corridors had changed. What once resembled metal now pulsed with translucent fibers. Lights followed his steps like veins responding to blood flow. Every wall hummed in sympathy with his breathing. At the heart of the Ark, they found what looked like a chamber of mirrors. Each surface reflected not their bodies, but fragments of human history, caves, cities, wars, laughter. Memory stored not as data, but as feeling, preserved in resonance. The sentience spoke through vibration again. You are returners. The line unbroken. The pattern remembers the voice. Naira tried to ask what returners meant, but the ship ignored her. It addressed Elias directly. Your voice carries command. Speak and I awaken. He hesitated. Every instinct screamed caution. Waking ancient systems without understanding them had ended civilizations before. Yet behind fear was curiosity stronger than survival. He spoke a single phrase, activate primary memory. Light erupted. The arc unfolded internally, thousands of panels sliding away to reveal holographic vistas, archives of the old human empire, fleets spanning galaxies, structures built from sound itself. The ship vibrated with energy, but remained stable. Then came pain neural feedback through Elias's skull like molten ice. The arc was reading him, aligning its systems to his genetic code. Naira reached to disconnect his suit feed, but the ship stopped her gently, a field holding her back. He is key. Pattern match complete. Elias gasped as visions overwhelmed him, stars dying, then rekindling through colossal machines singing into the void. He saw people, humans, commanding those machines through voice harmonics that shaped matter. They had once ruled not by force but by resonance. They spoke creation into order. When it ended, he was on his knees, shaking. The sentience spoke quietly, almost like apology. You were the origin of will. Others were echoes. But echoes forget. Naira supported him as he tried to stand. Why now? Why reawaken after all this time? The answer came as a low thrum felt more than heard. Because they stir again. The eaters of voice. The silence breaks. Odyssey. 9 detected it almost simultaneously, a tremor of subspace frequencies at the edge of the system, patterns identical to those recorded in the Ark's memories. Something was approaching.